to the Ungovernables, the Captain's Crew, the LFA family, McGroin Nation, Tuesday, May the 6th, which you know, by the way, is still Star Wars Day. Today is Revenge of the 6th. And then we end it, then it's like no more Star Wars Day. I love seeing the people squirm on May 4th. They go, here come the Star Wars memes. And I'm like, you got 2 more days left of this, buddy. Happy third Star Wars Day in a row. Happy Revenge of the 6th. Happy day after Cinco de Porto, which apparently was very well received yesterday. 1.4 million views on X. So we appreciate everybody who shared that over on X platform. It's not every day where something hits 1 million views anymore on that platform because AI is now running their algorithm and it is doing a horrible job. But we were able to break Grok's will and send that video into the stratosphere yesterday. So we greatly, greatly appreciate it. Welcome to everybody. Let us know where you're watching from in the chat. If you're watching on X, you're watching on Rumble, where you're watching from. Bully Gun Patriot from Indiana, Georgia, James Allen from Georgia, and has not been deported. So was not caught up in the Cinco de Portum. What? Trump put a clip of you on his Rumble. Jana Hunter. What are you talking about?
Trump has a Rumble?
Trump put a clip of you on his Rumble.
Oh, look.
Jana Hunter, 406. Are you talking to me? Huh? Are you talking to me? Is that real? Is it the campaign ad from earlier? Was it refreshed?
Hold on. I didn't even know Trump had a Rumble.
Trump does have a Rumble channel. Yes, the clip of the sombrero. Oh no. Is that real?
I don't know. I'm finding it.
Brendan is going to find it. Jana, if you have the link.
The most recent is 3 months ago. I don't know.
The most recent. Oh, don't tell me it was the fake Trump. Is it Il Donaldo Trumpo Rumble? I love him, but he's not really Donald Trump, and I'm tired of people getting that. Donald Trump's Rumble has. Brennan says Donald Trump's Rumble doesn't have any videos from 3 months ago.
The
Commander-in-Chief Paul. So, all right, Jana's going to find the link. We'll check it out. We will see if it is the, I think it's the Il Donaldo Trumpo Rumble account, which is not Donald Trump. But it's a super fan of Donald Trump, but it's not actually Donald Trump. It's okay. It's on Instagram as well. If it's the it's Il Donaldo, which is cool. I love him. Poppy Trumpo right on X he shared yesterday. There was a thought for a period of time that was actually Donald Trump because Trump got banned on Twitter. And I was like, you mean to tell me that Twitter doesn't realize the guy's name that has just an O at the end of each of his first and last is, yeah. But still a cool account, actually. I will say that. He shared that big one yesterday. I actually heard from him directly yesterday. So this is great. We love it. So he's the Mexican Trump. Yes, he's the Mexican Trump. That says that is Donald Trump if you ask Santa Surfing. And I love Santa Surfing. I respectfully disagree with Santa Surfing. I don't believe that's Donald Trump because Donald Trump has his own account. But who knows? Maybe that is his burner, or maybe it was at some point in time. However, still pretty cool. The video went all over the place. And very, very happy about that. We're going to talk about the end of gain of function today. We're going to talk about there was a funny story that came out of Cinco de Mayo yesterday. Cinco de Mayo, everybody, we didn't come up with the term Cinco de Porto by ourselves or uniquely. It was something that people have been calling it for a while. But there's a funny story out of Cinco de Mayo, or that arose from Cinco de Mayo yesterday. Apparently, there were and this is something that makes me scratch my head, right? Apparently, there was Cinco de Mayo events that were canceled because people were afraid of ICE raiding the events. I don't know who needs to hear this, like specifically who needs to hear it, but I do know a large group of people need to hear it. But if you're not in this country illegally, you don't have anything to worry about when it comes to ICE showing up at your events. So if you are perfectly legal Hispanic families and social groups celebrating Cinco de Mayo, which I don't even know what that holiday was invented for. It's the 5th of May.
Let's see.
I don't know what the origin of it was, but fine, whatever. If you are a perfectly legal U.S. citizen, if you are whether you're Hispanic or you're Asian or you're white pretending to be Hispanic on Cinco de Mayo, just like a lot of, most Italians will pretend to be Irish on St. Patrick's Day, right? Yeah, everyone's Irish on St. Patrick's Day. Everyone's Spanish on Cinco de Mayo. Everyone's American on the 4th of July, at least in this country.
To celebrate Mexico's victory over the Second French Empire at the Battle of Puebla in 1862 by General something.
Okay, Cinco de Mayo is like a Spanish victory over French imperial troops in 1862. Cool. So, like, if you are a perfectly legal Hispanic citizen, you don't have to worry about ICE. ICE is not targeting people for being Hispanic or Latino. They're removing people who are here illegally. Now, if you're illegal and you're throwing a Cinco de Mayo party, if you're illegal and you're throwing a Cinco de Mayo party, then yes, you have something to worry about. But you don't just have something to worry about when you're throwing a Cinco de Mayo party. You have something to worry about every day because the hominator is trying to find you and get you out of the country. But apparently there were Cinco de Mayo events that were canceled yet, which I find to be hysterical. I find that to be hysterical. By the way, Hotel Rwanda. Remember the movie Hotel Rwanda? Great movie. Now the country of Rwanda is in talks with the United States. They may wind up taking some of the illegals that we deport. That's interesting. Mayor Goo Goo is back. Mayor Goo Goo is back with a bizarre new way to fight crime in New York City. Cough, cough. It's not going to work. And I'm finally going to touch on this story because I've ignored it for long enough because, I don't know. It's something. It's kind of it's driving me a little crazy. Some people have different opinions about it. We're going to talk about it later. But I'm going to pose this question to you now. What does a wide open border, cashless bail, and Shiloh Hendricks have in common? You guys know who Shiloh Hendricks is? What does a wide open border, cashless bail, and Shiloh Hendricks have in common? We'll get to that second half of the show. It's not great. I don't necessarily think it's great. But it's a complex position that I have on the Shiloh Hendricks situation. If those of you who haven't heard of the Shiloh Hendricks story, it's quite interesting. So, Kemley, that's not the answer, but that is a answer. And Shiloh Hendricks is probably not going to work for a long time now. All right, to the thousands of you who are in here today, appreciate you all being here. Again, let us know where you're watching from. Look, your favorite president has a message for you again today. Your favorite president, he has a friend. Okay? Your favorite president happens to love Star Wars. Look. Right here, okay? Your favorite president happens to love the producers over at LFA TV. And your favorite president wants to tell you about an amazing opportunity for those of you looking for you have graphic design needs. Look no further than the endorsement of your favorite president. Take a look at this.
This is your favorite president, and the Force is very strong with me. Nobody's ever been stronger with the Force than your favorite president and your favorite Jedi. It started with A New Hope. You look at it. We defeated crooked Hillary and dirty Barack Obama. And you look at George Soros, he looks a lot like Emperor Palpatine. Then came Attack of the Crones. These are sick people, very sick people, and they stole it. You know exactly what happened. They stole it from us. But that gave way to Return of the Patriot, and now we are back. We're running things, and we are winning like nobody has ever seen before. These highly respected posters have been produced by a talented man known as Eli. He is one of the producers at LFA TV. You can reach him at e3graphicd@gmail.com. Take a look at it, get a hold of it, and talk to Eli. He's one of the greatest people the world has ever seen and will solve your design and graphics needs for competitive pricing, deals of a lifetime. Not much I can tell you. He's a great guy, and I hope you talk to him soon. Thank you, and may the force be with you. Believe me.
E3 graphicd@gmail.com. That is the one and only producer Eli in our chat, who produces Jeremy's show and is the thumbnail king. So that is the highly respected Eli, and he made these posters, okay, like kind of spoofing Star Wars, but theming it towards Donald Trump, and they are so cool. They're so cool. So go ahead and check out E3 Graphic Design, E3graphicd@gmail.com to get in touch with Eli if you have any graphic design needs, thumbnails, banners, posters, and anything else that I guess can scratch Eli's creative itch. Because that guy, yesterday's thumbnail for Cinco de Mayo was probably the funniest thumbnail, other than the ones that sometimes he puts me upside down for no reason. So that's funny too. But yes, E3graphicd@gmail.com. I'm going to be putting that video up on X as well a little bit later. Next up, we have a word from our friends at OFP Farms. You know, Mother's Day is right around the corner. Right around the corner, folks. And nothing says Mother's Day like getting yo mama this gift set from OFP Farms, the greatest goat's milk gift set in the history of goat milk gift sets. You know what I'm talking about. Take a look. That's OFPFarms.com. Use that promo code SHAWN for 20% off of your Mother's Day gift sets. Mother's Day is in 5 days, ladies and gentlemen. OFPFarms.com. OFPFarms.com. You see it on your screen. Promo code Sean, SHAWN. Import Grease Monkey says, got one delivered yesterday and ordered another one last night. So beautiful. Thank you, Denise and Corey. We got to love Denise and Corey over at OFPFarms.com. This is the Mother's Day gift. I see you. This is the Mother's Day gift set right here. Okay, what's inside of it? What is inside of the Mother's Day gift set? You have to order it to find out. That's the way that's going to go. OFPFarms.com, promo code Sean, SHAWN. OFPFarms.com, promo code SHAWN for 20% off. It's OFPFarms.com, promo code SHAWN for 20% off the Mother's Day gift set. All right, we are rolling, folks, here on a Tuesday, Revenge of the 6th morning. Let's get to Donald Trump finally ending gain-of-function research, or funding for gain-of-function research, which is different than ending it altogether. But you know what they say, money talks and BS walks, right? Donald Trump signed an executive order ending federal funding for gain-of-function research. Here is that clip real quick.
First relates to gain-of-function research. Gain-of-function research is a type of biomedical research where pathogens are adulterated, viruses are adulterated to make them more potent or to change the way that they function. Many people believe that gain-of-function research was one of the key causes of the COVID pandemic that struck us in the last decade. What this executive order does, first of all, it provides powerful new tools to enforce the ban on federal funding for gain-of-function research abroad. It also strengthens other oversight mechanisms related to that issue and creates an overarching strategy to ensure that biomedical research in general is being conducted safely and in a way that ultimately protects human health more.
It's a big deal. It could have been that we wouldn't have had the problem we had.
A lot of people say that, sir.
If we had this done earlier. Thank you.
All right, so Donald Trump ending federal funding for gain-of-function research. Of course, you're going to get a judge that's going to come down and say that's got to be restarted. Not the point. Point is, it's symbolic, right? The point is, this is something that we need to do. Donald Trump mentioned it, and he even, you could tell he was kind of hesitant to say it would be nice if this was done earlier. Well, he didn't know about it, I think, in his first term, that gain-of-function was taking place, or maybe he did know about it and ended it a little too late. The bottom line is this, right? And it comes down to this key concept. This is why I was against the whole dire wolf thing, bringing them back from extinction. It's why I don't like the idea of bringing back the woolly mammoth. It's why I fantasize, right, about the dinosaurs, Jurassic Park. But it's a stupid idea, I think. It's a dumb idea. Reckless is the word. Not necessarily, well, stupid yet, sure. But reckless also. It's a reckless idea because you don't know what exactly you're introducing back into this world. Under no circumstances are human beings supposed to try and play God, right? You have viruses out there that are already contagious, that are already, in many cases, in some cases, at least marginally deadly. There is no reason why we need to be tinkering with those viruses to make them more deadly. Now, I know the conversation and the position from the other side is, well, we can make the viruses more deadly, and then we can create cures or vaccinations or immunizations or treatments that can treat these more deadly viruses if, in fact, they get out or something similar winds up impacting the human population. And while that seems like a valid point at its surface, what happened in 2020 wipes that argument completely out because it wasn't worth it. And it's not just that the virus, look, COVID we know was, it killed people. It had the potential to kill people, the elderly, other comorbidities like obesity, diabetes, COPD. It was a respiratory virus, right? So it had its risks for sure. It didn't kill at the rate that CNN wanted you to believe it killed at, 99.98 or whatever the survival rate was with COVID. It didn't kill at a rate that would make it into a horror movie. It spread like wildfire, right? But even worse than the death, right? Even worse than the loss of life was the total restructuring of the economy, right? Mom and pop business owners had to shut their businesses down while Home Depot, Walmart, Costco, etc. were able to stay open. You had grandparents that weren't able to either celebrate birthdays or, spend their last few minutes on earth with their loved ones. You had doctors holding up notes. He is at peace. We're so sorry. You couldn't see your loved ones when they were, in their last moments on earth. People are never going to get that time back. You had children that had to be, virtual, that sit through a screen and do virtual learning. You had mask mandates. You had vaccine mandates. People lost their jobs. People's businesses were destroyed. People were oppressed, had their rights just stripped away from them for no reason whatsoever because this virus was played with and got out of the Wuhan lab. Right, and this is why China now is coming out and trying to blame the United States for COVID, and the United States is trying to blame China for COVID. Well, the United States essentially funded the research that took place in China that created COVID. So in my opinion, both countries essentially are responsible for the virus getting out. I would place more blame on China because they lied about it. Remember, they told the World Health Organization that there was no clear human-to-human transmission between there was no clear human-to-human transmission for COVID-19, which obviously was a lie. It's obvious that the facility in Wuhan is within China, right? So it's imperative, and it is the responsibility falls on China to make sure that those facilities are taking the measures necessary to keep these viruses from getting out. But the United States did play a role in funding the research that created the virus, right? So China's blaming the United States is blaming China, and Candace Owens is probably blaming the Jews somehow for the creation of COVID-19. And by the way, if you don't like that I take shots at Candace Owens, go watch another show because she's an absolute moron. Thank you. On to the next. It is long past time for gain-of-function research to not receive a single penny here in the United States. You do not need to be taking viruses and making them more deadly and torturing animals and developing vaccines to then inject into our food and mandate on society. There is no place for that. None. The only outcome from tinkering with viruses is a bad outcome. It's the only one. It's the only outcome. You say, well, what could possibly go wrong? We're just playing with the virus. Well, look at 2020. There are still people. Now, there are still people walking around with masks on in public. I'm not talking about the people who are receiving cancer treatments who have to wear it. I'm not talking about the people who have bad allergies. You know as well as I know, don't be ignorant, that there are more people walking around with masks on that are not cancer patients or suffering from allergies or COPD, okay? There are still people who believe there's a killer virus floating around in the air, like Taylor Lorenz, and they strap the diaper on their face and they believe now that they're safer. There are still people who drive around in their vehicles with their masks on alone. There are still people who will go for a run outside and strap a mask on their face while they do so, which is far worse for you than just breathing while you're running. The impact that COVID had, that was the virus was created through gain-of-function research grants. It's something that the world will never completely and totally recover from. And I could say, well, I didn't participate in the madness, or I tried to avoid as much of the madness as possible. There was only so much we could do in New York. And I could say, well, I didn't wear a mask most of the time. But we all still experienced it in some way. Right? The 2020 election was impacted by COVID. We all, whether you were in Florida where there was, it was basically the Wild West, or South Dakota where it was really the Wild West, right? Or you were in New York or California, COVID impacted every single person in this country. And it was created through grants like this. Federal funding that essentially facilitated the production of the COVID virus. The White House stated the order will drastically reduce the potential for lab-related incidents involving gain-of-function research like that conducted on bat coronaviruses in China by the EcoHealth Alliance and Wuhan Institute of Virology. The order is also meant to protect Americans from incidents such as those that likely caused COVID-19 and the 1977 Russian flu. In all the history of gain-of-function research, we cannot... Actually, I should probably say it like this. In all the history of gain-of-function research, we cannot point to a single good thing that has come of it, said Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy, who appeared alongside Trump at the signing. All jokes aside, I'm happy that these programs look like they're going to be coming to an end. These programs, we do not need to be messing with viruses, tinkering with nature. That goes for dire wolves, and if you want to bring back the dodo, and you wanted the woolly mammoth, and all that. No. Leave nature alone. Let the natural course of things be the natural course of things. If the virus is going to evolve to impact humans, it will do so. We don't need to help it along. Okay? No more. All right. So gain-of-function research is done. And I am happy that gain-of-function research is gone. Well, it's not gone. It's never going to be completely gone. But it looks like federal funding, at least Donald Trump is directing the cessation of federal funding for gain-of-function research. As Plum says in our chat, Jurassic Park, life finds a way. That it does. All right, I want to laugh though. I want to laugh at this. The Cinco de Mayo story is just amazing. This is ay. So, Speak told me he played this for some of his friends in Home Depot. The Cinco de Porto video?
In Home Depot.
Yeah. I said it would be great if you had grabbed the intercom. Right, like, and then you play it. This is your favorite president, and you're all getting deported. You would have seen all the I scatter. Oh, no, we have to go, man. We have to go to Lowe's. All right. I have to run away. Yeah. All right. Here we go. Cinco de Mayo. I'm sorry. I have to laugh at this. I have to laugh. No, you know what it is? People will look at this and go, oh, you're offending Hispanics. I love Hispanic. I had tacos last night.
I did too.
It was amazing. I made the best tacos. Cinco de Mayo. They canceled Cinco de Mayo events for the fear of ICE raids. Okay. So the people, okay. I just have to stop. Because the logic here is so flawed, right? The logic here is so flawed. If you are afraid that ICE is going to show up at one of your events and raid one of your events, then you must know or have reasonable suspicion that illegal aliens are going to be present at your events, right? Because ICE doesn't just show up in places where there aren't illegals, right? Like, that's the whole thing. Like, ICE has not been to our house. You know why? Because there's no illegal aliens in our house. The SWAT has been to our house, but ICE has not been to our house, right? ICE has not been to our house. There's no illegals here. There's no suspicion that there are illegals here. ICE is not going to show up here, okay? If you're canceling your events because you're afraid that ICE is going to show up, then you must believe that it is possible in some way that they know that illegals are going to be attending your events. If that's the case, I want ICE to find out, get in touch with Breitbart, find out who canceled these events and raid them today. Some cities, I bet you I know what cities these are. Chicago, New York, Portland, all these cities that are sanctuary cities, right? Some cities have canceled or severely downplayed Cinco de Mayo events for fear of ICE raids and deportation. Speaking with CNN on Monday, Chicago, there's one. Chicago resident Hector Escobar, president of the Casa Puebla and Cermak Road Chamber of Commerce, said that people in his community are very scared of gathering in public, with some even considering going back to Mexico. Adios, bad hombres. Adios. Afuera. If you are afraid that ICE is going to raid, there was a bit, the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, Larry the Cable Guy and a couple of other people. And it was like, if you married your cousin, you might be a redneck, right? It was like the joke was, if you throw your wife on the floor when you hear the word hoedown, you might be a redneck. Like, these are the jokes, right? If you are afraid of your events being raided by ICE, your Cinco de Mayo events being raided by ICE, you might be harboring illegals. It's that simple. I'll tell you what. As Annette says in the chat, it does sound like virtue signaling for a way. The people are very scared. They're saying they don't want to go to work. They have to go to work because they have to feed their families. So if they both were working, now one person is working. As to why he canceled the Cinco de Mayo parade in Chicago's Little Village, which attracts up to 300,000 people annually, Escobar said that too many people are afraid. If you are afraid that you're going to be taken away by ICE at a Cinco de Mayo event, you might be an illegal alien and you shouldn't be here in the first place. We're not just rounding up people who speak Spanish and sending them to other countries. We're deporting illegal aliens, gangbangers, drug traffickers, bad hombres, right? Tren de Aragua, MS-13, human smugglers, people like the infamous Maryland man, Kilmar Abrigo Garcia, who has the name of the gang that he belonged to tattooed on his knuckles. We're not deporting people who are showing up to Cinco de Mayo events, eating a burrito, wearing a sombrero, doing a little dance, and then going home. If you're legal, you have nothing to worry about. However, if you are afraid to show up to one of these events because you're afraid that you're going to be scooped up by ICE, then what you're really afraid of is being caught in this country illegally. In which case, you shouldn't be here in the first place. So rather than having ICE find you and throw you in the back of an ICE van like a sack of potatoes, why don't you just self-deport, call it a day, and come back in the right way when you have the resources, when you have the time? I'd say that's fair. I think this story this made me laugh because the only thing to be afraid of, it's not to celebrate Cinco de Mayo, it's to celebrate being caught in the country illegally. They're afraid of ICE because they're breaking the law. I don't know. That one made me laugh. That was a good one. Ay, ay, ay. They're going to take us away, man. All right. All right. Finally, we'll do this. Let's do Rwanda now. You hear about this is a good one. Rwanda is in the early stages of talks regarding taking in illegal aliens from New York. Maybe they're from New York, maybe from the United States. Rwanda's government has acknowledged it's in the initial stages of discussions with the Trump administration about accepting migrants deported from the United States. Rwanda said they are open to giving another chance to migrants who have problems across the world. You could have them. You want Kilmore? Go ahead. You want Javier Diaz from yesterday? You can have him too, Rwanda. That's just...
Remind me not to go to Rwanda.
Yeah, we will not be going to Rwanda to see Paul Rusesabagina. That's Don Cheadle's character from Hotel Rwanda, which is a great movie. What?
Who spells a word like that anyway?
Rwanda?
R-W?
Well, Rwanda. Yeah, well, I'm not going to say it because I'm not going to get myself in trouble. Although, now using racial slurs is something that you get paid $700,000 for, so I might go in the park and drop an N-bomb today. Oh, we'll get to it. Shiloh Hendricks. I can't believe you haven't seen this story. This is unbelievable. All right, last month, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio stated the administration was actively searching for governments willing to accept what he described as some of the most despicable human beings. Marco Rubio has been a rock star thus far as Secretary of State. Apparently, Rwanda wants our trash, so they could take it. They could take it. All right, let's take a quick break. Let's go to a word from our friends, the best online merch shop in the country. Then we will get to Mayor Goo Goo. You could Goo Goo that because he's got the silliest way. But Brennan, remember when we were in New York before we left? It was like the late summer, early fall, and that story came out in New York about, if somebody is mugging you on the sidewalk, just say, didn't we go to high school together?
Oh, yeah. Or please stop.
Please stop. You got this guy with a machete. It's Tren de Aragua, right? And he's ready to take off your head. And you just go, please stop. Didn't we go to high school together? Well, it may have gotten worse, actually. Mayor Goo Goo, I don't know, maybe he's trying to win the Nobel Peace Prize. I have no idea. Well, we'll get to this in a minute. Before we do that, let's talk about the LFA TV store. It's at lfatv.us. lfatv.us. Click on the LFA TV store tab. You can scroll down, hit the Visit the Store button, and you will see all that there is to offer right here at the LFA TV store. lfatv.us, lfatv.us, Rise Up Coffee. You know Rise Up Coffee, it's good stuff, right? You've got the tank tops. You got the tote bags, too. We used those when we moved because we used everything that could contain things when we moved. And some of those tote bags are still in use because, when you move, you never unpack 100% of the stuff. You got tumblers, the Trump Vance flags. These mugs are amazing. Love the mugs. I don't really care Margaret shirt. By the way, speaking of J.D. Vance, very important. Anybody here from the Natty? Today is primary day in Cincinnati. If you live in Cincinnati, I kindly ask that you vote for Corey Bowman today, Bowman. Corey Bowman, J.D. Vance's half-brother, is running in the Cincinnati mayoral primary. So if you are a resident of Cincinnati, Ohio, or you know any residents of Cincinnati, Ohio, who are registered to vote, please make sure that they go vote for Corey Bowman in the Cincinnati mayoral primary today. That's comes from this shirt, the I Don't Really Care Margaret shirt. J.D. Vance's half-brother is running for mayor of Cincinnati. You got the Made America Great Again shirts, the 45, 47 shirts, everything you could possibly imagine here at the LFA TV store. It's LFATV.us, LFATV.us, or JeremyHerald.com/store, LFATV.us or JeremyHerald.com/store. All right, who wants to see Mayor Goo Goo? You ready? Oh, where are we at today in terms of numbers? 603. Well, we're at 603 a little earlier than normal. So, we got a good crowd today. 604 right now. So do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. I honked Mo a little in extra today because I felt like honking my hedgehog. I'm sorry. Here we go. Yeah, what's that? Mo gave a little wine. We can get the 700. You get Mo again. And Tucker's outside squeaking as he normally does. Ow! He never really learned how to meow, our cat. One of our cat. He does this. He used to do this. Ow. Ow. And now he just goes, ow. He opens his mouth wide and the tiniest little squeak comes out. Ow. Like, all right. Cat's having a hard time learning how to talk. He's good though. All right, Mayor Goo Goo. This is so funny. Why do we call him Mayor Goo Goo? Because he said one time, you could Goo Goo that. Right? Eric Adams is debuting a new way to fight crime in New York City. As Gary Great McGroin says in the chat, sharing works. So share this out with everybody and you will get that 700. Happened yesterday. It'll happen again today. All right, here we go. What is this here? What does it say? Here we go. So someone's being silly in the chat. All right. Eric Adams debuting a brand new way to fight crime in New York City. I think it's worse than, hey, didn't we go to high school together? Please stop. This is unbelievable.
Mayor says
panic button that you'll immediately be able to hit that is going to alarm the police and it's going to be connected directly to the local precincts. When you do the combination, it's going to give you access to the cameras in the store to see what is taking place and how we could get an immediate response.
The panic button, ladies and gentlemen, that's what he said. You got the panic button, and you can press it, and the precincts will come to your store, and they see your cameras. What? How about, and here's an idea, how about you let the cops do their job? At the state level, cashless bail needs to be repealed. Moto Cowboys, I wonder how many butt dials will happen. You got the panic button. You could Google the panic button. It's a beautiful button. It's all over Google. I mean, it's absolutely wild, right? Absolutely wild to see that this is what New York City is now relying. Why do you need a panic button in New York City? Why do you need a panic button in New York City? It's that bad, isn't it? I thought the city was safe. Right? Remember ABC? Well, New York City, as crime has gone down. What? If crime's going down in New York City so safe, why do you need a panic button? Why do you need a panic button? Oh, Mayor Goo Goo. And you know what? Things are not going to get better in New York. You know why? Because they are getting ready to elect one of New York's worst serial murderers. I killed all of the old people. Andrew Cuomo, you must not remove your mask. But if you are one of my interns, You must remove your clothes. Handsy Andy. As this article on Red State by Ward Clark says, never let it be said that the Big Apple's intrepid leadership is short on crime-fighting ideas. They may not have a superhero in blue spandex and red briefs flying around the city apprehending bad guys, posing heroically and oozing toxic masculinity, but they will have the next best thing, folks, the panic button. The panic button. Eric Adams said, a panic button that you will immediately be able to hit. It's going to alarm the police. What are the police going to do?
Panic too.
They're going to come down. They're going to come down to the store. They're not going to do anything because they're not allowed to do anything, because if they make an arrest, especially if it's a person of color, if they make an arrest, they're going to be accused of racism. And then what happens? All right, so let's say they make the arrest. They bring the suspect, robber, burglar, assaulter, whatever it is, into the precinct. Then the same thing will happen. That happened to Christine Ohm's robber. Desk appearance warrant, a desk appearance ticket, release without bail, court date skipped, more crimes committed. Why does that happen? By the way, why does cashless bail not work? Right? Why does it not work? Why did the open border not work? We're going to do this. We're going to do this now. We are going to tie cashless bail, the open border, and the Shiloh Hendricks story together. And this may rub some people the wrong way, but I think most of us are going to be in agreement here. Right? Now, I want to preface this by saying the following. All right? You, meaning anyone watching, or you in general, as in people, have the right to donate your money to whatever you want, right? As long as what you're donating to is obviously in accordance with the law, right? You have the right to donate to whatever you want. If you want to donate to a foundation that takes videos of puppies wearing pink tutus, you could do that. If you want to donate to a foundation that is, quote unquote, standing with Ukraine, you could do that. If you want to donate to a nonprofit that is collecting money to send to Israel, you could do that. If you want to donate to Carmelo Anthony for his, quote unquote, legal stuff, you could do that. If you want to donate to Shiloh Hendricks for whatever the reason is for donating to her, I guess the cancel culture mob is coming after her, you could do that. I'm not saying you shouldn't have the right to do that, okay? I am not arguing to take anybody's rights away. I am not arguing to cap the amount of donations or the number. I don't want the Give, Send, Go. I don't want Give, Send, Go, the website, to pull these fundraisers off of their platform. I don't agree with either of them. All right. The one for Carmelo Anthony is ridiculous. This kid is a murderer. And the one for Shiloh Hendricks, while she did not do something as bad as Carmelo Anthony, she didn't kill anyone, right? She used the N-word in the park. Why does cashless bail not work? Why did the open border make things worse? Because it's this simple. Bad behavior, right? Let's take New York City for an example, right? Robbing somebody, assaulting somebody, burglarizing, vandalizing, whatever it might be. Okay? Bad behavior in New York City is being rewarded, right? The people are not being held accountable. That's basically a reward. You broke the law. You're not held accountable. You have been rewarded for it, right? Crossing the border illegally was being rewarded, right? They were coming across the border. They were getting free phones, free health care, free food, free housing, free transportation. Crossing the border illegally was being rewarded. Bad behavior was being rewarded. Now, I'm not going to say that Shiloh Hendricks' bad behavior, dropping the N-word in a park, yelling at a guy who, was allegedly stealing from her. I'm not going to say that bad behavior is equal to Carmelo Anthony's bad behavior, because it's not. Carmelo Anthony killed somebody. She did not kill somebody. She used a 2-syllable word that people think is offensive. Okay? Now, my stance on the word is that if it's bad for one group to say it, it's bad for everybody to say it. That is what equality looks like, okay? So half the population should not be allowed to say a word that the other half of the population isn't allowed to say, right? But I saw Matt Walsh make a comment or make the case that, well, by donating, by the way, this woman who dropped the N-word a bunch of times in the park at a guy who was allegedly stealing from her and filming her and all this, that woman has raised $700,000. $700,000. Matt Walsh wants to tell you that because she raised all this money, it disincentivizes cancel culture in the future. And I respect Matt Walsh, and I respectfully, passionately disagree with that take. And here's why. If raising money for white victims of cancel culture was the way and the remedy for the spread and the metastasizing that, cancer, that is cancel culture, right? If raising money for white victims and white targets of cancel culture was the answer, then why didn't cancel culture stop after Kyle Rittenhouse? Why didn't cancel culture stop after Daniel Penny? As far as I know, Rittenhouse and Penny are both white. As far as I know, both of them were on trial for murder. And as far as I know, both of them raised a ton of money on Give, Send, Go or some of these, crowdfunding platforms. It paid for their legal defenses. They got off, and that's that. If the message that is being sent, well, we're going to give $700,000 to a woman who used the N-word at a park. If the message that you're trying to send is, you better not do cancel culture or we'll give somebody else $700,000, that is just not going to work. I'll tell you what is going to happen. Somebody, probably in the next week or so, is going to go do a similar incident, whether they're going to stage it or not. You have just set a market. This is my problem. You have set a market. You have incentivized a brand new sport. Competitive racism is a new sport, and it has a very, very high pay grade and a very high salary. This woman, Shiloh Hendricks, who dropped the N-word, I don't care what she said or why she said it, and there were rumors the guy was a pedophile. The point of the matter isn't that I think she shouldn't get the money, not because I want the platforms to take the fundraiser down. I think people should stop donating to it. What are you donating? What are you solving by donating to this woman? What societal problems are different or solved today because she raised almost $750,000 for dropping the N-word in the park? What problems are solved? What problems are going to be solved? The only thing you're doing is you are setting the precedent that if you do this and the cancel culture mob comes for you, you're going to get a beautiful windfall. That's all you're doing. What do you think, the left is not going to answer back? You think they're going to see this $700,000 fundraiser and go, that's it. We're done with cancel culture. They sent us a message. When's the last time they've ever done that? The answer is never. If raising money to send a message to the cancel culture mob that we're better than you was an effective way to end cancel culture, it would have ended with Rittenhouse. It would have ended with Daniel Penny. The fact of the matter is, all you have done by donating to Shiloh Hendricks, and you have the right to do it, and she has the right to collect all of that money. And Give, Send, Go has the right to leave that fundraiser up. I'm not telling you don't have the right to do it. Well, while you have the right to do it, I have the right to call you a moron for doing it. Because all you're doing is incentivizing this to happen again. All you're doing is putting a price tag on competitive racism. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. Do you know how many people there are probably looking at this story thinking about, well, what if I go drop the N-word in a park? Will I get $700,000? She was rewarded for, let's be honest, bad behavior, okay? It's not something I could go out to a park in 20 minutes and drop the N-word 40 times at a black guy and collect $700,000 tomorrow. I'm fairly confident in that because of what happened with Shiloh Hendricks. You know the difference between me and Shiloh Hendricks is? I don't want to make that money. I don't want to make my money that way. I want to make an honest living. And so, while there is a divide, and yes, there is a problem in this country with the way white people are treated. I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat this. White guilt is stupid. I hate it. The double standard about the word in question, the N-word, that people can say it because it's a term of endearment, but other people can't say it because it's racist when white people say it. No. Either the word is bad or the word isn't bad. It's not just bad in some instances. No. It's either a bad word or it's not a bad word. You can either say it, everyone can say it, or no one can say it. But all this does, folks, all this does by raising $700,000+ for this woman, it puts a price tag, it sets a market on how much that type of publicity stunt is worth. And I don't see, I'm sorry, and I respect Matt Walsh. I really do. I think he's great. I don't see at all how this disincentivizes cancel culture. It's like how gun laws would disincentivize gun crime. No. And if anything, the fundraisers for the other white targets of cancel culture, while they help them, this is not reflexive, but cancel culture has only gotten worse. We've talked about this. We had police in our home. We had guns pointed at us. That's cancel culture. That is an evolution of cancel culture. Donald Trump was shot in the head. That's an evolution of cancel culture. They couldn't jail him. They couldn't beat him at the ballot box, so they had to try and kill him. If raising money sent the message and disincentivized cancel culture, then, well, you think it would probably have started to show that it was working by now. It hasn't. Again, if you donated to Shiloh Hendricks, you have every right to donate to Shiloh Hendricks. If you donated to Carmelo Anthony, you have every right to donate to Carmelo Anthony. In terms of who I think did a worse thing, Carmelo Anthony, 1,000 times worse. He did something that's a billion times worse than what Shiloh Hendricks did. He killed somebody. She used a bad word in the park. But is this really what we want to be incentivizing going forward? How much do you think a group that tries to help homeless veterans could have done with $700,000? But homeless veterans didn't say the N-word in the park. Homeless veterans didn't kill a teen at a track meet. So homeless veterans, they stay homeless. I think all this does is incentivizes more stunts like this in the future. This is what the race to the bottom looks like. We make this analogy all the time, right? If your dog craps all over your carpet and you reward him with a treat, he's going to crap all over your carpet again. If the next person that goes into a park and drops the N-bomb, however many times Shiloh Hendricks did it, does not get rewarded to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars, what do you think that person or the next person is going to do? They're going to say it even louder and louder and louder and louder. It's extinction burst behavior. You put your money into the vending machine. You punch in the code, and the thing, that doesn't let your chips fall out. You start kicking and punching and destroying the machine because you did everything that you're supposed to do to get your reward, and you didn't get it. That's where we're headed. That's where we're headed with decisions like this. To donate $700,000 to a woman for dropping the N-bomb in a park. You could not find something better to do with your money. That's what you chose to do. You have the right to do it. I have the right to call you an idiot for doing it. All you do for Matt Walsh to come out and say that it's disincentivizing cancel culture. Really? If anything, it incentivizes this behavior to keep happening. Because they're going to turn this behavior into a business. When engagement on X was monetized, what happened to X? Everybody started farming engagement, right? One-liner slop questions. Do you agree? Yes or no? When you incentivize something with a paycheck, you make it more likely for things like this to occur. I don't know. That's my stance. Anybody, what is the feedback to this point here? Here's Mo. There's Mo. All right. All right. So good tea there. There we go. Oh, we have reached the end of the show. We have reached the end of the show. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching and listening. We greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. To all of the 9,600 people now in the show, watching the show this morning. Greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We have a problem with Ed Martin, folks. Not with Ed, with his nomination. Gotta get on your phone. Gotta call your senators. Tom Tillis, Bill Cassidy, John Curtis in Utah. One of the senators from Mississippi. Welker? What? No, not Welker. Jeez, I forget his name. Weller? What is the... Let me see if I can find this. Ed Martin needs to be confirmed. We have until May 20th. To get his confirmation over the finish line, or else District Judge Blosberg has the authority and will be tasked with finding his replacement. We don't want that. Roger Wicker is the one from Mississippi who is presenting a problem. John Curtis from Utah. Don't worry about Collins, Murkowski, or McConnell. Those people are lost cause. Tillis, Cassidy, Curtis, and Wicker. Give them a call. Tell them to confirm Ed Martin. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching and listening. We greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate everything that you guys do to support the show. Please check us out everywhere you get your podcasts by going to any podcasting platform and search for Ungoverned. We appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up button if you're watching on any platform, the like button, the repost button, the share button. We greatly appreciate that as well. Jeremy Harrell coming up next with Live from America for the next 2 hours. In the words of our favorite president, we will never give up, we will never give in, and we will never ever surrender. And if all else fails, we will just become ungovernable. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your Tuesday. We're back here tomorrow, same time, same place, rumble.com/LFA TV, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Until then, in the words of John Fetterman, good night, everybody. Bang gavel. We'll see you tomorrow.